some viewers sitting back in their living rooms saying, well, that's okay, but the ball is moving around a bit off the seam, and they won't always find pitches that are in any way helpful. A great shot and super fielding. Peter Martin's not necessarily the fastest across the ground, but he's got a long reach, and he saved 4 runs there, just allowed them to take the single. Wonderful shot.
Great fine sweep by AZHARUDDIN and a two-handed dive by Peter Martin. Great fielding for a man of 6'5" to get down that quickly and that far. Super stop.
Just going back to what I was saying about Chappell and Martin, and the fact that the pitch has allowed a bit of movement off the seam and there's been a bit of swing. The other thing you've got to take into account to balance that is there's been 400 runs made and only 7 wickets have gone down.
All about putting the ball in the right place more often, and Martin and Chappell have done it more often than the Derbyshire bowlers did.
That's good catch again. He took a neat diving catch a little earlier, and that one was hit with fierce power by AZHARUDDIN, and that's the one they wanted. No doubt about the enjoyment there, and I suspect it stung just a fraction.
Well, that was hit with tremendous power, and you can see from all the reaction there, the Lancashire players delighted to dismiss MOHAMMAD AZHARUDDIN. Here it is, Gary Yates, seeing him coming, flighted it, and that's nearly knocked Mike Atherton off his feet. Good catch, made it look very simple. Caught under his chin, still going up. O'Gorman, the next Derbyshire batsman. He's got a job on his hands. Good reward from the Lancashire attack there. Yates, Chappell and now Martin. Bowled very tightly since tea. Put the pressure on with well set fields.
Gorman's off the mark straight away. Ian Austin is the man down at keeping it on. No chance to play yourself in out there with the asking rate now pushing up around about 7 per over.
That's well fielded by Gary Yates, although his foot probably won't think so.
Well, that's as easy as you'll see. Sort of thing can happen when you're intent on pushing the score along. Gary Yates has done well. He's had a good spell of bowling in keeping with the general way in which Lancashire performed out there. Good bowling from Martin, from Chappell, and now from Yates. Here's Paul Allett, and then it'll be Tony Lewis.
Chris Adams paying the penalty for trying to play across the line here, trying to work that on the leg side, just getting a little looping leading edge. The most comfortable of catches for Gary Yates, and he's delighted. Chris Adams never really settled in. 34 in 110 minutes. See this dismissal again. Gary Yates on leg stump. Ball going straight on with the arm and the leading edge. Straight back to him, and he's delighted. He's bowled well. He's kept flighting the ball, Gary Yates, even though he went for 13 runs off his first 2 overs. Come in commendably well. Ducked a bowling leg stump.
So a great deal of action here. It's all happened in that over. Gary Yates with his off spin, tucking them in on leg stump, and Derbyshire have just lost a couple of important wickets. AZHARUDDIN, of course, crucial. What the batsmen have proved today is that once they're in, although the ball has swung in the air, once they're in, plenty of shots are available, plenty of runs are available, and it's been on the whole a batsman's day. That's suddenly changed now with the loss of Adams and AZHARUDDIN. Colin Wells is the new batsman. Colin Wells, formerly of Sussex. He had a bowl, not all that successful, but he's one of the 5 seamers who bowled for Derbyshire today. 1 for 57 off 11. .128 for 4 then. Leg by. .152 more required from 20.2. 20 overs and 2 balls to be more accurate. And the run rate goes up now to almost 7.5 and over. David Gower has just joined me, so to consider the thoughts in the Derbyshire dressing room at the moment. I don't know how they'll be viewing this.
I think they'll be disappointed that MOHAMMAD AZHARUDDIN is actually in the dressing room himself. He was going to be a key figure in this run chase. He's a man of genuine talent, very quick run scorer. And unfortunately for Derbyshire, they're now down to men, with no disrespect, of lesser ability. They've also got Peter Martin, who's bowling as well in this second spell as he was at the start of the innings. And still some help in this pitch, although we're well into this game now. It's not as though the pitch has died down, has stopped doing things for the bowler. So the pressure very much on Derbyshire. And Lancashire at the moment will be very comfortable, very happy with the position they're in. And after 35 overs at the comparable time, you can see there's a larger gap opening up now than there was, say, during the earlier comparisons we've shown on the screen. Lancashire indebted at that stage to Atherton and Crawley. I must admit that Atherton and Crawley has a better ring to it than O'Gorman and Wells.
It's Gary Yates to continue to bowl to Colin Wells. They look for 2. Settle for 1. Ian Austin's the man out there, very experienced. Played a lot of one-day cricket and some big matches for Lancashire over the years.
Yes, interesting to watch Ian Austin responding to that previous ball. He had a bit of a scare early in the innings when Chris Adams took two to him out in the same position. The ball went straight at that time, and it looked like a comfortable one. That's what Ian Austin thought at the same time as well. Chris Adams came back for two the first time, but Ian Austin awake to the situation.
That's in the air and in space. That's a long hit out there. There's a lot of field out there. It's the longest boundary on the field, and he picked his spot perfectly.
When you said it was in space, I thought you meant it had gone a lot further. Certainly re-entered the atmosphere just in front of square leg there. But desperate measures now are going to be needed for Derbyshire, because they've got to take advantage of whatever space there really is available. That run rate over 7 means that they do need boundaries.
Runs required 145 off 19 overs. Ian Austin comes back. There's very special people just in front of that scoreboard, because today they made me an honorary member of the Grumblers Society. They know their man. Indeed, one of the Grumblers is a former Derbyshire cricketer. Eric Marsh used to bowl Derbyshire pre-war. But Durham, Worcestershire at Stockton. Durham 190 for 8. Worcestershire 129 for 2. Curtis was out for 0, Dolabira for 11, but Hick is 71 not out and Moody 38. At Chelmsford, Essex and Leicestershire. Leicestershire 241 for 9, and Essex are 88 for 1. Gooch 52 not out. Yorkshire 178 for 6, Hampshire 100 for 1. Smith is 48 not out, Middleton 38. And the batsman out, Paul Terry. At Canterbury, Gloucestershire 189 for 9, the 55 overs, and Kent 84 for 1. Benson 30 not out, Taylor 30 not out. Middlesex, Warwickshire, Middlesex 150 all out, Warwickshire 83 for 4. Very tight stuff there. Not out batsman. Not out batsman at Lords. Penny 7 not out, Reeve 7 not out. Brian Lara out for 34. Notts and Sussex, Sussex 239 for 9, and Notts 106 for 2. The men not out, Adams 40, Robinson 48. And after this ball from Austin, Graham Lloyd at deep point, fielding well, getting the ball in quickly, restricting Derbyshire to the single. So Surrey Glamorgan 236 for 6, and Surrey 97 for 1. Alex Stewart 1 out for 2, but Darren Bicknell 41 and Graham Thorpe 49 not out. this is where we are after 37 overs. 139 for 4, Lancashire 280 for 5. And the Lancashire score, in case you didn't know, based on a very fine century by Michael Atherton, the England captain.
That Derbyshire current run rate dropping, of course, is exactly what they don't want to happen. Same time, quite naturally, the required run rate going up. 7.88 runs per over needed now. It's a tall order.
Gary Yates, I must say, has bowled well. He's bowled accurately, very rarely hit through the offside. And he's got the familiar inner and outer ring on the onside. 3 in saving 1, 3 out on the boundary. Oh, that was a misfield. So they go through for 2 runs.
Now that required run rate is over 7, it's very easy for Gary Yates just to stick the field back on the assumption that he's only going to give away 1 a ball maximum until, of course, you get the misfield.
Oh, well, that sneaked through again, and it's a very good ball, full length. No great force in the stroke from O'Gorman. On the offside, there's a straightish cover who missed the ball, and then a deep mid-off. Six runs off the over. You couldn't say it was a bad over at all. But mainly the batsman played the ball exactly where young Gary Yates wanted it to be played, on the onside. Toss was won by Derbyshire. Derbyshire decided to field first, and Lancashire made a terrific start with Gallion and Atherton and Crawley. David.
Yes, Jason Gallion was particularly impressive. I felt at the start of the day that looked in good form coming from his 170-odd at Manchester the other day. So he set the pace. But between them, Gallion, Atherton and Crawley all kept that tempo up this morning. And ironically, it was only later in the day that the tempo came down, just when it looked as though Lancashire might even top the 300 mark on a natural progression. Derbyshire came back well towards the end of that Lancashire innings with some good bowling, good accurate block hole bowling that restricted them down to what, in comparative terms, is the better 280. But it has to be said that 280 has always looked a very good score, bearing in mind conditions today. There's still something in this pitch. Bowlers have managed to get the ball to swing, to seam a little bit all the way through the day.
Well, leg byes. Ball crashes into the perimeter advertising. Very useful runs for Derbyshire, doesn't matter how they come.
Well, Derbyshire need boundaries of any description. Runs, leg byes, they all count. And that last ditch sliding tackle, not enough.
Young Peter Martin down there is having a bit of a rough trip today. Bowled very well. A man drops back at long on now for Colin Wells. This is Ian Austin's second spell. The first of 4 overs for 19 runs was excellent and straight on the scorebox end. Now he's turned round to the pavilion end. That was a bit of a missed opportunity, I think. Full length on leg stump, just outside leg stump.
Well, just managed to breach the difference between a comfortable clip off the toes and something heading towards being slightly wide. Ian Austin, very experienced and capable of getting that ball right up into that Yorker length, which is the hardest length, of course, to hit at this stage of a cricket match. Just when batsmen are looking something for more of genuine length to get underneath, to loft into the vacant areas somewhere around the ground. Those sorts of delivery are hard to get away.
Tim O'Gorman, the batsman. Gary Yates, the bowler. Bowled.
Good length from Gary Yates, just as Colin Wells is looking to come down and open the shoulders. Turned it into a Yorker.
That's very well stopped. Colin Wells just looking at the big drive all the time, and young off-spinner having the courage to pitch the ball well up, aiming for middle and leg, trying to tuck the batsman up. And that's a better shot. And the ball wasn't quite so far up. Wells came down the pitch to meet it, and that's 4 runs. And Derbyshire, taking 5 off the over, need to do all that and a little bit more.
Well, he wasn't quite there, Colin Wells, but the one thing he did well was to get it dead straight down the ground. One bounce, split the 2 fielders there, 1 man at long on, 1 man at long off. That was the key, because the trajectory otherwise, had he dragged it to long on, was just right for the catch. But he got it straight, got the runs. Still with that comparison there, Derbyshire lagging behind. completely out of touch, but still lagging behind.
It's a sprint for O'Gorman. That's as strong a shot as he can play, and it got to Graham Lloyd quite quickly. But he's a long way out there. As we said, it's quite a big outfield on that side, and although he fielded as well as he could, there were 2 runs in it.
Graham Lloyd must be starting out there around about 80 yards or so deep on the offside. There's always the time it takes the ball to reach him, the time it takes for him to move left or right onto the line of the ball. It was good running by Tim O'Gorman. Made his mind up early to come back for the second.
Another good pick up and throw from Lloyd. It's well fielded too with Glenn Chappell, young fast bowler, down the Pines 3rd man boundary. Getting the ball back in quickly. Just 1 run, 4 runs off the over, 1 ball to go. So Lancashire still hanging on to this control in the field. One run. The man was back deep at mid-on, so that's 5 runs off the over. Let's take a look at the card now then. It's 161 for 4 Derbyshire. They are aiming for 281 to win the match of 55 overs. They put the other side in and put Lancashire in. So they put the onus on the batting, which hasn't truly held up. Peter Bowler went for naught, LBW. Adrian Rollins was outstanding, picked up a very comfortable 70. Faced some good swing bowling too at the time. Chris Adams never quite in touch. AZHARUDDIN chipped the ball to mid-wicket before he really got set at all. And now we're watching Tim O'Gorman and Colin Wells. 14 not out, 17 not out. Extras 22. It's a welcome to Paul Allott, who's just joined me, and then to Jack Bannister.